LGD take a game off of EDG in their first game in their series together, where LGD left the Emilio up and then picked the Blitzcrank into it and said, you are just going to get hooked and the Enchanter is not going to be able to perform in the way that we want you to. So now IG, they let the Aphelios go into the hands of Arn this time. Uzi will have to pick up a different champion. We did see OMG pick Tristana alongside the Emilio to be just hyper range, hyper push, hyper stay on the DPS kind of button the entire game. However, this has been the premier bot lane for the Milio. Lucian Milio is absolutely disgusting.
It is a super powerful combination that can come in here, and we'll see what EDG want to go for. Is it going to be another game for FoFo on the K'Sante? That is the question, but I think EDG kind of making the right decision here, to be perfectly honest, kind of saying, look, we'll pick a solo laner. It can still be flexed to Ala or to FoFo. It has gone to FoFo twice. Actually, I'd argue that maybe FoFo's played it more than Ala so far this split. I have to triple check that particular stat for you before we go into it, deep dive any further. But honestly, I think IG, like you mentioned, I think you just go with the Blitzcrank. Yes, you're going to lose a couple of bans into that, you know, kind of top lane or mid lane, top lane or jungle. But I think picking this up is just smart.
I'm going to channel my inner Heath Ledger for a second. It's simple. We killed the Enchanter. You don't have to worry about the carry behind them if you just hook the Enchanter and they die. So something like the Blitzcrank has been forever a good answer into something like Yuumi or into the Milio, because the Enchanter doesn't get to heal and shield anyone if they're dead.
Absolutely, and yes, I have just verified now. This K'Sante, if it goes to FoFo, would be 5 games of K'Sante mid for EDG and only 4 for the K'Sante top for the side of Ala. So it's still pretty close, 4-4 apiece, comparatively even into this series. So wait to see where they want to kind of go for right now. And the Wukong being banned away, I actually wouldn't even mind seeing a Viego being banned here by the side of EDG, just taking out so many more of those facilitating junglers. And honestly, IG could ban away the Maokai themselves. Yep, there it is.
I think that's a good call, because when you have the Blitzcrank hook, you have the Annie engage, it's a lot of burst, a lot of single target pick, and then that would unlock something like a Viego reset. Viego's also very strong in the initial parts of the game, level 2, level 3, you can start bullying out a lot of these jungle matchups. We've seen the likes of Kha'Zix also be very effective at that style of play as well. Of course, we see this K'Sante thrown over to EDG. I would imagine we're going to get jungle pick now to wait to see if Wen can see his own jungle matchup. The Gwen is already gone, and it's going to be Kindred instead. So Blitzcrank Kindred, very strong pick combo again, very good comboing up and taking down that first target. It is fairly risky though. You are going to be outranged by something like that Lucian running forward, and we have not seen an Elise in a long time. Jiejie picking it up, that is bold.
That is very bold. And this is the thing, the Elise is exceptionally powerful if you can land that Q, that cocoon, excuse me. And that's where the kind of combination comes in. Very high laning phase, and looking at the way these kind of compositions are set up, the Elise is not really going to have a huge amount of purchase in that top or mid lane. Yes, they can if you get a Q3 down from the K'Sante or a decimating smash from the Scion, but really you want that kind of instant CC into another bit of instant CC for this Elise to try and, jump up without having to use her repel to get on top of her target. That's kind of the power that she gains, but that is all locked and loaded here now. And I will say the Elise is a definite kind of curveball into this particular one. Will be interesting to see how aggressive Jiejie wants to be into a very squishy Kindred.
Yeah, the repel also very important versus the hook. That's going to be incredibly important to look towards. Wen is not going towards carry into the tank matchup. Again, speaking to my brother who's streamed the LDL a little bit, and talked about Wen being a very versatile player. Not just the person that plays so like the Gangplank or the Vladimir or what you have you. He can play the tanks as well. Ala, of course, doing the same. Played 2 carries to both of them. Now going on to a bit more of that facilitation duty in that top side. That Scion, that Gragas, very, very important in regards to keeping their carry safe and providing a front line. The Cask in this game has very high value. You can shunt the Scion into the team or the Lucian away. If Lucian's out of the fight because the Cask has hit them, the damage goes down very heavily for the side of EDG.
Absolutely. I think the big thing to notice, though, is that, yes, you've got the Tibbers still Cryin on a 3rd game in a row in this series going on to the Annie, but the Milio Ultimate cleanses that CC away, so Uzi has another little bit of kind of protection available to him, and this is going to be a curious kind of setup right now for both these teams. I really do feel like we are going to be waiting to see who is going to be coming out on top, and if it all devolves into scrappy affairs, I gotta feel like IG are going to be feeling a little bit more comfortable, because EDG, they're slow, they're methodical, they like to tick every box, read all the terms and conditions of every website they go on to, but IG love the chaos. They're just accepting and moving on, so we'll have to wait and see how both these teams kind of fare in this 3rd and final game.
EDG. This is a composition which they need to start firing off early with, though. Elise, Lucian, they are one-item spiking champions above many other champions in their role. Tanks as well in the solo laners once again. It's been a very bruiser-heavy day for the side of EDG, trying to allow their AD carry to pick up the damage. They're going to have to facilitate for this Lucian Milio, which will be the backbone of EDG.
We are onto the rift. The Jiejie's stronger than ever. I do love how both the chant starters, as they got to the final, either EDG or IG, their voices just kind of cracked a little bit, showing how much emphasis and power they're trying to put into this one there. Be the sixth man, if you will, for their teams.
Mate, I'm worried about our voices after these 3 games. That last one,
we got another series, mate.
We haven't. That's why I'm worried for them, because we've had 3 games of this. The last game was absolutely electric, explosive, other exciting words beginning with E. We, of course, have got Top Esports and FPX later on after this one, but this one has to be seen out first. Both the games are happening in the same venue. We're at Shanghai the entire day. There'll be an extended break after the end of this one, while we cool off from whatever the heck happens in Game 3.
I like that. Whatever the heck happens. As we wait
Yeah.
to see how both these
Look, I
teams
saw what happened in Game 2. I am not putting bets on the table.
That is fair. It can just evolve into all the kind of different setups. But I will say that this isn't the first time we have seen the Elise so far. The split was played by Kanavi earlier on, I believe, against LNG. So, you know, was a win. So definitely something that has not got a huge amount of play left into it. But I suppose when every jungler was banned, you kind of end up into the weird fringes of the LPL jungle picks. And with the... When going towards this one, actually, I'm going to stop myself because Baishon going for a much faster kind of clear right now. Red Raptors straight up into blue and Gromp. He's going to hit a level 3 and possibly be on this bot side to try and gank a very overextended bot lane of EDG.
Potentially would have to be reliant on a hook again. The ability to kill these enchanters with the Blitzcrank, very important. Of course, if you get to hide behind minions, very, very different. If you get to hide behind a jungler, even better. Spiderlings from Jiejie will block out the hooks as well if he uses his spider form effectively. And Baishang tried to go towards this bot side, as you said, quicker than he potentially could have done. Gets the Gromp, doesn't get the blue buff, skipped his croaks to get down here. At least Jiejie is not going to get a full bot side steal out of the Kindred's jungle.
That's the big thing. Look, I said I wanted to see Jiejie being a bit more aggressive, or how aggressive he wanted to be, and it's because of this. Kindred is not going to be able to 1v1 a level 3 Elise. Just not going to happen. Good ward here from the bot lane, or even the jungler of IG does spot out Jiejie, so they know exactly where he is. Baishong needs to be careful. They know that he's around this bot side, but do they know exactly? That is the question. They aren't going to be able to see each other. They're just outside of each other's fog of war. There's the Gravitum coming down. There's a good hook there onto Milio. It's exactly what you talked about. He's going to be forced to flash away. He doesn't have a great amount of range to deal with. Baishong just going to dance himself away. Jiejie hovering this bot side, and again, it's all about bot lane in this game.
It is. But again, when you lock in the Blitzcrank versus an Enchanter, game gets very snowbally around this lane. You get to get control of the wave, extra gold in pocket. The first couple of kills in the game, Blitzcrank can just take over. Get to push them in, get control of that vision. So EDG and Jiejie are doing a good job of shielding their bot lane, getting the early push and getting the early invade to make sure that that doesn't come to pass.
Well, Len going to be able to sustain pretty easily, you would imagine, with that passive up on that top side. So despite Ala kind of having the trade in his favor for now, definitely isn't going to be there forever, as they both have some biscuits. You like biscuits?
Baishong just hates his croaks. He's just bot lane permanently.
I mean, I can't blame him, because with the Gravitum there available, we do see Ignite coming out onto Wink, who's very, very low. No heal available to him. Still feeling confident to move forward onto this, though, as Baishong trying to jump onto Uzi, flashes in. I don't know if that was the best call whatsoever. He's going to flash in on top of him, try and take down the Uzi carry, but it's going to be the Elise coming down. Jiejie picks up a double, and this is what I was talking about. When you go for so much in this bot side, if it goes wrong, it goes very wrong very quick.
It is disaster for Invictus Gaming. Their game plan was, let's shut down the Milio Lucian. We have a Blitzcrank, we've got a Kindred, they can fight early, surely this will work out. Knockup lands onto Gragas. That's going to be dangerous here as well now.
Yeah, it's going to be very dangerous. Flash away. There's still some damage being put in by the minions. Is Ala maybe thinking about going for a flash move there, but knows with the cooldowns available? Yeah, you can see that the healing coming back off of that particular one there, and when loses a summoner.
Didn't have mana.
Yeah, don't have mana, so very difficult to do. Beishang will be able to pick up his first mark of the game as he moves up towards this top side, and now Ala might be forced to lose his flash. Does have his ultimate available. Now Wen needs to be careful. He's only a couple of HP away from this one, and it's already getting so scrappy. So look at the replay here on the bot side.
The assignment is kill bot lane. Has been pretty much the entire series, but Beishang really tries to get involved here. Yet again, has skipped his Grogs the entire game, skipping his top side camps, tried to get towards bot side as quickly as possible. Almost flashes out of Uzi's Q. I think if that happens, maybe the Kindred can get the extra kill onto that bot lane. Sadly, not to be the case. And now Jiejie going to run into him. This is going to be a bursty trade.
This is going to be a very bursty trade, but you can see there the Cryin coming in here with the ultimate jump straight down onto Jiejie, who's trying to trade him back the all-out from FoFo as Beishang trying to run away. The junglers get traded, but I don't think FoFo's got a way out of this one here. He's going to try and trade it back as quick as he can, but he is being corralled, he is being pushed in, and almost certainly taken out. Just get a nice double knock up here, but he is going to be taken down by Cryin, who's now got himself 2 kills of his own. So 3-2 now in favor of EDG. And Nymaera, it's starting to look scrappy again.
It is, and Cryin has himself 2 kills on the Annie. He was our MVP of Game 2, rightfully so. He smashed EDG in so many of those team fights. And despite the fact that bot lane has been going well in favor of EDG, once again, IG have found themselves some wins elsewhere on the map as soon as EDG find their kind of initial barrage into a game. The one negative from this is, of course, Beishang didn't mark Jiejie. A lot of the time, Kindred will want to mark enemy jungler, but because of the bot lane focus, really hope to get something onto Lucian. Hasn't been able to change it over just yet either. So no mark there for the Kindred. The kills, though, very much going to be sitting happily in IG's pockets.
And again, Cryin coming out strong as this Annie kind of, you know, specifically in this series, it's an Annie versus Cassante at all times, and he may have come out the worst for wear in that first game, but he has learned, he has adapted, and he is coming out stronger than ever. Wink seems to be a bit more aggressive as Beishang making more of a move towards this bot side. This time has the mark onto the Elise. But more and more pressure coming out from EDG as they look to secure this dragon, continue the pressure in this bot side, get this Uzi Lucian going.
Well, despite the 2 kills on Cryin, let's talk about the leads on EDG as well. 2 kills on Jiejie, who we asked to step up this series. EDG, a lot of their successes in Spring were from Jiejie being the best jungler in the league for the grand majority of Spring. It was between him and Tarzan, but Jiejie, I think, really does pip him to the post, especially after the playoffs collapse of Tarzan, sadly for him too. Kanavi, of course, also in the conversation, somewhere around there. But for him to have this early game advantage, the ability to get those 2 kills, boot second tier boots right from the off as well, very important for EDG to have that point of power around Jiejie again.
Level 6 here for Uzi, has access to the culling. FoFo coming down as well, has flash, has the all out. So it'll be difficult to try and dive in on top of On, who is very much ready for any kind of setup here. Beishang as well in the vicinity to counter any kind of move. For the moment, it's just going to be a clearing of the farm. That second plate is almost certainly going to go down this next push. Do they want to go for something a little bit more aggressive? They will know that the Kindred is in the area because they did pop down a little bit of a movement there, as we do have Ala soaking up all the damage there from that turret plate. So when just going to use that Gragas barrel to try and get some trade back, but nothing good doing for the IG top laner.
FoFo getting demolished proc on the mid lane turret as well. Beishang, and back to the scene of the bot lane Cryin once more. There's a flash from Wink, you can have a flash knock-up, something like that. But again, going into the double level 6 now from Meiko and Uzi, that is just hellish. It looks like he's going to call off that play. Lamb's Respite was very powerful in its own right, but EDG feels like they've got all their ducks in a row this time.
FoFo moving down here once more. Beishang needs to do something with his time. And funny enough, despite him spending all of this time on the bot side, he's not that far behind in terms of the camps. Yes, of course, you still have 2 kills onto Jiejie, so he is still very happy with the way things are going for the moment, but definitely not in a bad position. Jiejie now just kind of clearing out all of this vision. Beishang back again. Look, you might as well just be an AD carry on this Kindred, because you ain't leaving bot lane anytime soon.
There's finally culling pulled out by Uzi, trying to chunk down On, trying to make sure he can maybe deny him some farm. Not going to be the case there, though. Good CS lead being built up. That's wave clear ult. Tried to get him past the minions. I
like the idea. Now we see Unstoppable Onslaught forcing out the flash from Wen on that top side. Look, For Wink, I like the idea. You flash in, you stop them from, you get the silence down to stop anything else from coming out. You get the hook, it all well and good from there, but just not quite able to make that one stick.
No, it's a good timing. Honestly, I like the play, just doesn't quite hit the hook. And with that in mind, not going to be able to break this bot lane push. Recalls come out of Uzi and Meiko, see where they go next on the map, especially with Herald putting up an available, being taken by Jiejie. And this is where I really need to see something more from EDG in terms of a power play. Both of these teams, it feels like they've just been going for fights just in the hopes that we win the fights. The macro has been a little bit lacking from both teams, though. It's devolved into those mid lane plays later into the game. EDG, with the Herald, with their power point of first item coming in from Lucian, they have an opportunity to blow open this game.
That they do. I will say, most likely going to see those plates going into the bot side. Kraken Slayer already for Uzi here. We have seen a move away, shall we say, from the Essence Reaver rush that we used to see, and the Gale Force, of course, as well. EDG happy with the way things are going for the moment. 1 minute 40 until the Dragon spawns. That would be the second for EDG. See if IG can kind of stop them, and it's about a 1,000 gold lead, maybe a bit of 1,500 as these waves just get pushed in towards this bot side. Interesting enough to see that the bot lane of IG just kind of went mid to kind of push away that they weren't going to go anything else and just give up this whole wave on bot side. It seems a bit of a waste, unfortunately. And Jiejie here means that there's going to be a full tower of plates going over to the side of EDG's bot side.
I think IG, they were worried about an instant wave drop, Herald drop in mid lane potentially, particularly with Uzi and Meiko being on the reset, but they kind of they win the mind game. There's no deep vision to spot where the EDG bot lane is going. It's going to be a full turret down to Uzi and Meiko. This is disgusting.
Yeah, like, I mean, you had to flash and heal there from On just to make sure he did not get caught out by a cocoon. Hook goes wide there from Wink as the culling puts him down right back onto the turret. This is the thing, you got a Kraken Slayer here onto Uzi. They've used nothing. That's the big thing. They've literally used the culling, and that's about it. Beishong gonna hold on to his ult for the moment. That is risky. But at the end of the day, it does end up working out in their favor. Wink got to go for a hook, but Uzi knows the distance on that one there. Dashes him away to safety, and this is looking a bit more dominant from the EDG bot side.
Uzi never changes in regards to the absolute ice-cold blood in his veins. Gets himself another turret, and this is bot side demolition from EDG. IG potentially had the read on them in regards to the Herald going down. Thought they'd managed to maybe see them going towards the mid lane. Not being the case though. IG, this is in a very dangerous spot for them now. They don't have the same scaling advantage they had in Game 2 with Gangplank and the rest of it. EDG on the flip side of this, having much cleaner early game play.
See it there. Cryin trying to keep up with Uzi, but Uzi is miles ahead of On right now. On still waiting to see if he can complete up his first item. Should have it now on this particular reset, but basically at this very moment of time, he is a Kraken Slayer behind Uzi for all intents and purposes. Dragon going to be started here from Beishong, as there was a bit of a late reset here, and Felios didn't reset just yet, so they know that On is coming in here with a not so much of a full plate of anything. They're going to have a TP coming on the backside of this one here. That's going to be the Kasante. Dragon secured. Beishong trying to see if he can maybe be a bit more of a nuisance here. Goes all out and just trying to protect On, but I don't know if you're going to be able to protect On. He's going to get dashed over the wall once FoFo and Meiko are here. Yeah, On. You should have maybe gone back a little bit sooner. Dragon does go over to the side of IG, but they will trade back 2 kills because of it.
There we go. So, IG, I think they just kind of missed the memo that if you have lost 2 bot side turrets, EDG can just run back through your bot side jungle, put vision down, and have that available for the Dragon. IG disrespect the vision, EDG get a good play out of it. So EDG, we asked them some questions about what are they doing with their macro, where's the big power play? They have answered that fairly well in Game 3.
Very, very well, and this is just Uzi looking so good for the moment. Just have to be careful of a hook, and a Tibbers can do a hell of a lot against him, but he's not culling to just harass people back underneath their own tower, making very good use of it. And actually, interesting enough, has gone with the press the attack rather than the first strike here onto Lucian.
Yeah.
So recognizing that, look, I'm going to win the lane anyway, so I might as well just go for something that has a little bit more kind of like team fight presence.
Well, First Strike is mainly a Nami rune because it's just all about the huge kind of 10% damage increase, or however much the percentage is when you kind of pull out your ult combo. What this press the attack does, it uses that extended auto attack range so well. Sometimes with the shorter range solution, as we just saying, die horribly. When you have the attack range buff from the Milio, it makes that press the attack so much more consistently able to be procced, and especially with the Kraken Slayer build as well. Lucian's auto attack damage, it gets pretty high pretty quick.
See IG now falling a bit behind, 4,000 gold now in favor of EDG, and EDG looking so much more confident in this game. This early game has gone much better for them comparatively to the first, and honestly even to the second. The second one, just nothing really happened, to be perfectly honest, so definitely feeling a lot more confident. They got the Night Harvester here for
I think Gwen thought a lot happened. I think the Gangplank thought a lot happened, but that was it. It was just like, oh, top laners have died again. But that was our early game in the last one. You're absolutely right. At the end of the day, we've had more macro stuff happening in this early game, with the Herald being put down, with Jiejie using his early, at least, Wrecking Ball. They're looking towards this top side, but I mean, it's not a huge amount of damage. Cryine's gone for the Ludens, not the Leandries, which even in game 2, look, you can kind of understand because he was going for the flat pen to try and kill off the carries, not deal damage to the front line. But not having Leandries against the Sion, it kind of sucks for the Annie.
Yeah, it just means that the Sion is in no way, shape, or form scared of anything happening right now. TP going to have to come in from Cryin just to try to defend this mid lane. Wing taking half his HP, just standing around. 2 minutes till the next dragon spawns. It is a Chem Rift, which means that the Rift itself is a bit of a boon to anyone who can use it effectively, but the Dragon itself, not the biggest thing. I will say, actually, in this particular game, having the extra tenacity being built up here for either side could be a big difference maker.
And then, honestly, the biggest thing is the map itself. Of course, you were saying that in terms of who can use the Rift better. Those blast cones for the engaging threats on both teams, very, very impactful. IG looking for a flank.
They're going to go for it. There's going to be EDG going in. The flash has to be used as way. Just Tokyo drifts himself out. There's going to be the grabbing him down on the Jiejie, who goes straight back up. Spider comes up, Spider comes down, and is not in any threat for the moment. Wen seeing if he can maybe go for a fight, trying to see if he can find some kind of flash body slam, because he does not have that explosive cast. And tower goes down. Hellbar still in favor of EDG, and Uzi feeling confident moving forward. No summoners were blown by EDG at all in that last skirmish.
That's a big moment there for EDG. A lot of the time when you see these heavy mid lane pushes, there's a huge moment to try and look for a counterpunch. Flank behind them, get a TP in. It didn't involve a TP this time, but IG still lose their turret, they're losing the Herald, and EDG, they've used their early game pressure and their one-item spikes on the Lucian and this Elise as well to great impact. IG, they've been passengers in this game. They've had very few attempts to impact this game after the failed bot side pressure.
Beishong, he wanted it. He really wanted it there, because he's only sitting on that one stack, but was not to be. That means that he is unfortunately going to continue to wait until he gets up to those 4 stacks, which is just so crippling for a Kindred. It just feels like you're just not the champion you need to be until you get at minimum those 4 stacks for yourself.
I mean, into tanks, you've got some ability to play, but I mean, if you're not outranging the Scions, kind of like E, his W and his Q, you're hopping around, you get knocked up, and you just immediately get blown up. And either way, even if you get loads of stacks this game, because this Lucian is so strong, Uzi's going to completely 100-0 you beyond the range of anything you have. It's not going to be easy for you. IG are really just hoping that someone missteps on vision. There are some red wards around. You can see the vision control from IG is fairly considerable towards that top side of the map. If Wink gets a hook beyond 20 minutes and you get a kill onto the jungler or the AD carry, this game is still playable. But that's it. That's about what you're looking for. Maybe a good enough flank from Cryin or Wen can make things questionable as well. But that's what you're looking for. This game is very difficult given the power spikes reached on EDG.
I love what FoFo did there as well. Just said, I don't need to push the wave. I'm just going to cover the side of the jungle that this market spawned on. So there's not even an opportunity for Beishong to try and maybe get back in on top of this one here. Wen is on a little bit of a flank, but again, full tank Gragas, not exactly going to be bursting out anybody anytime soon. Great for being a frontline for this Aphelios and a Kindred, but definitely not going to be the one-shot capabilities that we've all seen and loved for the last while. It's going to be a hook. It does land straight in onto Uzi. He does lose his flash and the Milio ultimate as well. Ala tanking up in the front line as he is just a fridge right in the middle of everybody here. He's been eaten healthy so far. Rift Herald to get dropped into this top side, which means that we are going to potentially see another turret take here. But Uzi, for the first time having to use his flash, definitely going to be feeling a little bit more at risk should he get caught out by Cryin, who still has that tipper.
It's like, Ala is not just any fridge. She's the fridge which Indiana Jones hides in to escape the nuclear explosion. That is how ungodly tanky this Sion is. And despite the... it didn't... Yeah, don't question it. It's movie magic. We'll leave it at that. But, I mean, you can see here, he's just dead.
Oh, is he? Yes, he is. Meiko picked up that kill there with the Milio, and they're going straight onto On. No way in hell that he can flash away from that engage, and that is the power of the Cassante. Once you're caught, you are dead, and that could be a Baron straight off spawn. 20 minutes as Ala just kind of plays Teep away. The two tanky members, how are you going to burn down them?
Yeah, the fridge is cool as ice. Freezer maybe for Ala, and keeping everyone at arm's length. IG, they know what is up. They do have the Kindred ultimate to maybe make a Baron Smite Steal play, but it's so difficult to get into the pit with Ala playing blocker.
It is. Ala just kind of moving forward here. Cryin, though, see if he can maybe catch up now. Remember, they have reduced magic resistance. It doesn't matter. I don't know why I hyped it up there for a second. He is just dead to rights. Ala flashing in. They're going to make sure that Beishong has no way in hell that he can go for this fight whatsoever. He's going to flash. He's going to pop down the Lamb's Respite, which means that Ala gets to stay alive as well. He heals up just a little bit and finally gets taken down. In the zombie form, I'm going to throw in a couple of auto attacks, maybe get a grasp of the Undying while he's at it, but I mean, EDG looking so much more confident in this Game 3 comparatively to Game 2.
They've really used the early spikes better this game than they did in their previous one. I think Jiejie being on the early game jungler of this Elise has been very important for them, and it looks a little bit more towards what we saw from Spring EDG in regards to finding their power spikes, working around it. This is after, of course, the hook came in from IG. Vision control very quickly contested by EDG, and IG, they just don't respect that everyone is still in their jungle. They use the Hex Flash over the wall, Wink goes down. EDG now with the Baron in play. This has been such a smooth Game 3 compared to the previous two games.
So smooth. Unfortunately for Uzi, not able to catch out the culling on the back end of Annie right there. And Cryin, he's trying his best, man. He's almost got that Rabadons. And again, if he can get that power spike, there's an opportunity. But it does start to feel like it's a losing battle coming out here for IG. They're going to need one or two small miracles just to try and get themselves back into some kind of competitiveness.
Yeah, so the problem is, reminds me of that double lift clip where he dies to red buff. That one, that was a bit of an older one. It still checks out. EDG though, they don't have to worry about IG getting like a random hook into a Baron snowball or something like that now. The Baron's already gone. EDG taking that one off the map. That was what IG were really hoping they can get something out of. Not going to be the case, and these power spikes just continue to start rolling forwards. IG, they don't have any way to kill the front line, even if the cask shoves Lucian away. Ala's just going to ult backwards. He's going to be absolutely fine. IG very much running out of options.
Yeah, and look, they're going for a Quincy's Rage Blade onto Beishong, something we generally don't see on the Kindred, but it is still going to be a pretty decent power spike that you get. Yeah, you got someone who's able to do it. There's going to be an LDR here for On if he's able to get it. There isn't. Movement to try and maybe catch out Ala, who's just kind of tanking this up. Look at this Infernal, kind of like, normally the splash damage is so oppressive to go back on top of this wave, but he's just tanking it up. He doesn't care.
He absolutely doesn't. Again, Nephelios is one of our most snowball AD carries. Feels incredible when you're ahead. You regen through everything. You burst everyone. When you're 0 and 3, this is what happens. Some of these tanks become unkillable until later into the game. Hook lands.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get anything else. The Spider gets himself a little bit more than he can chew, and that's going to be a kill. The turret plate, and they're going to try and jump straight back in on top of this. Beishong does not even have his ultimate to use. The Cryin goes golden, On goes down, and EDG going in for the win. They're going to be able to take down everybody on the side of IG except for Cryin. 2-1-0 and an incredible Game 2, but this one is just not able to do it. Even the TP from FoFo just to make sure that this Nexus turret stays alive for long enough. They're even going to keep the Demolish for this second turret as well. That's going to be the game, the series, and EDG with Uzi will start off their campaign with their new AD carry with a series win.
It's actually going to be a bit of a fight on the Nexus. Minions will help the deal though. EDG, they lose a game, but they do not lose the war. Uzi's return ends in a victory in the series.
Good start here for EDG. Again, always good to see Uzi come back, and they did not disappoint. Good smiles coming out here from EDG.